talk to me about this area. I love how we're now feeling enclosed, but from a height as well, with the canopy from these absolutely beautiful specimens.
I think it's probably my favourite part of the garden, and I've done nothing to it. It's probably the one part I haven't touched. So I think just having sort of mature trees, it's special. I feel really, really lucky to actually have these in the garden. And this is the area that I call the Woodland Walkway. It's just grasses and foxgloves and cow parsley that I've just left, and we mow pathways through it and we just leave it all summer long. I say that, but we've actually just a few weeks ago mowed this entire area because it was being overrun with cleve.
Right, okay.
I just discovered actually you can use that to make massage oil.
Oh, really?
Someone I know has written a book, and that's one of the things in there, and I thought, oh, I'm going to try that next year.
Okay.
But this year, just to sort of get on top of it, I've mowed it down, and now we'll just leave it to come back again.
Okay.
But just being under this canopy of trees here, I just find it really peaceful. It's
really peaceful. You feel quite protected.
Yeah.
And then you've mown the paths through and left everywhere else to kind of grow wild. It tells you where to go, but without dictating anything to you. It kind of just like you still feel that absolute freedom.
There's a couple of routes you can go, and we generally have bonfires up there in the winter, and it's just a lovely view over the hills to the sheep beyond, and I feel like it's a special place. They say like trees hold power, and of all the adversity they have to go through to get to that size, they're strong and they're powerful. And I come out here and I just stand at the bottom of the steps there and just look up this way, and I just take it in and soak it in.
And then just moving further down, then here I see that we've got an orchard, and the very good beginnings of.
So this is this pathway down here catches all my self-seeded foxgloves.
Okay.
So it looks like weeds, but it's not. So I'll just leave those and then just lift them in the autumn and then plant them out in borders. Or I have done in previous years just a whole border of foxgloves, which is such an impact.
Dramatic,
And here, this is a wild area we haven't really tackled, but it's foxgloves and astrantia and Pescaria, and I see feverfew. So we'll get to that at some point, but right now it's sort of a catch-all bed for things that I'm waiting to decide what to do with.
I love the astrantia. It's one of my most favourite.
Is it? Yeah. It's so lovely in an arrangement as well. We planted apple trees. We have this is a pear. I'm saying apple trees, this is pear. I actually need to find another variety because it's not self-fertile.
Okay.
To cross-pollinate here. We've got a James Grieve that's doing really well. I think this is the 5th year. It's really, really happy this year. We have a Bramley cooking apple. We have a cherry. Last year we had a bumper crop. This year my immature fruits were crisped by that really hot weather. And then we have a Worcester pearmain, and that's what started the orchard. My son bought me that tree and for Christmas, and I thought, oh right, I'll need to see what goes with it. And it's really fun to have. It's really fun to harvest fruit from here. And then this bed that looks a little bedraggled now is what I call my winter cut flower bed. So I have things like skimmia and hypericum that are so lovely in wreaths, and red dogwood as well, and holly. And even
so that kind of a purpose.
Yes, there is a purpose to it, and it's really fun to be able to come out in winter and cut stuff to make a wreath with, and also go foraging for things as well. But to have a few bits in your own garden is quite fun.
Yeah, a really involved process. And then obviously when you put it together and then put it up, and that kind of that's part of you, part of the garden, part of you, part of your home. This is for the home.
Exactly.
And for that time of year as well, where home means so much to many people. So having that, it's a really involved process. I love that.
And after that sort of first investment into those sort of smaller plants, it sort of pays for itself. You're not going out to buy all these bits and bobs. You can just pick from your own garden. So that's really fun. And then it leads down to sort of our future projects in the garden.
Future projects. Let's go and have a little talk about that.
So this is one of our major sort of future plans, but we're just really enjoying it as it is right now. So we used to mow the lawn. My husband would be out here for a couple of hours just mowing the lawn.
It's a big space.
But you get that self-awareness, don't you? You learn things as you go, and we've learned that leaving areas not cut back is really good for pollinators, really good for all the beneficial insects. So that's what we started. We started with no mow May, and now we have no mow summer. Yeah. And we basically cut it back once a year. And in the first year, it was pretty much just grasses and sort of clover and Germander speedwell, like the small blue flower. But as years have gone on, the orchid, the common spotted orchid, have popped up, and thistles have popped up, and ragwort and oxeye daisies. There's a couple, and buttercups, and just things that weren't there the first year.
Little pops of colour.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's taking over and it's doing what it needs to do. I would love to just add some yellow rattle and add some different wildflower species, some poppy, something a bit more whimsical, and just let that then take over. And
so to let the yellow rattle kind of just tie back a little bit of the grasses, just to give everything else a bit of a chance to get going.
Exactly.
And just kind of, that would just shift the balance a little bit and kind of bring in more pollinators for you there.
But I love it as it is. And it lightens our sort of load in the garden as well, just letting nature do its thing. We do have snowberries, which I'm not a huge fan of, because they don't really offer that much in terms of sort of like visual interest or sort of seasonal interest, apart from the berries sort of in the winter. But even then, they're quite short-lived and it's quite invasive. So the plan is at some point is to replace that with something that does offer a bit more interest in 4 seasons, but then sort of sweeping up the lawn. We do have sort of plans to sort of widen the sort of driveway and again put some sort of water feature in there, and then maybe have steps coming down. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a formal planting thing, but I definitely for now just want to have this sort of patch with the wildflower turf and something quite dramatic, like lots of colour in that one spot. But I think they'll all sort of coexist quite nicely, the wild and the formal and the colour and the green. But then we also have what we're hoping will be our pond. That's a project for the winter. So we're just trying to, I don't know if it's actually going to be the size or if this is actually going to be the final location, because we are under a bank of trees. We might bring it out somewhat. But the plan is to have a pond of some description, because I really want to encourage the ducks and just anything that wants to make this its home, frogs. But we also, I saw cranes. We have cranes in the area, and I would love them to just visit our pond. That would be amazing. So I've got a lot of learning to do about what grows around a pond, and I would love to create a pathway and maybe a walkway over. So it is it'll be a big project, and it will be something that we do to have movement in the water. So if it's like a solar water feature.
To add that kind of like movement on the water surface, but
which might not work under the trees. So there's so much to consider, but it's a start, and just marking it out just helps me get a visual of.
It's a beginning place to envisage, kind of what could be, what could potentially be your pond.
Exactly. But also this area in spring is like a whole different thing. I mean, we've got drifts of snowdrops and crocus and aconites, and it's just deciding how that's all going to sort of live together, and whether we do anything formal with the space at all, or we just let those things do their thing and let them shine in spring. So we need to come back one day and have a look.
Well, I'll take a walk over the bridge. Lovely.